Hello everybody and welcome back to Bring Your Own Popcorn. So in today's video I'm going to give a really quick review on the most recent Doctor Who episode because I'm a massive Doctor Who fan. So I thought I'd jump on and give my review for The Power of the Doctor, which was Jodie Whittaker's final episode for Doctor Who. And before I get into the review, I'm going to quickly talk about her other 3 series and what I thought of them. So, when Jodie Whittaker became the Doctor in 2018, when her first episodes aired, I think she was announced in 2017, but became the Doctor in 2018. I thought her first episode, I was like, right, okay, it's not great, it's different, but I'm looking forward to see where this goes, because if they keep building upon this first episode, because they've obviously set their own kind of style and just took it in a different kind of direction. If they just build upon this with each episode, I'll enjoy this this series. And then I watched her second episode, and it was terrible. And most of series 11 was just absolutely dreadful. The writing just wasn't good. Jodie Whittaker's performance was alright. I definitely think she gave her worst performance as the Doctor in series 11. The writing just was pretty terrible. I was excited to see a series done by Chris Chibnall because I think he's a good writer. He wrote Broadchurch, which I'm a massive fan of. He just can't seem to do sci-fi, or maybe he can do sci-fi, he just can't seem to crack Doctor Who. So I thought series 11 was pretty dreadful. Series 12 aired and it was better. I actually enjoyed a few episodes in series 12. I enjoyed Spyfall Part 1. I thought that was a lot of fun. What else is in series 12? Fugitive of the Judoon was interesting. It was good. The Haunting of Villa Diodati was a great episode. I'm actually a big fan of Ascension of the Cybermen. But the whole arc in series 12 and what it was building to in the end with the timeless child, it fell flat on its face, and it's probably one of the worst things Doctor Who has ever did. Was this whole timeless child arc. And yeah, I absolutely hated all of that stuff, but there was slight promise in some of the episodes in series 12. And then series 13, or Flux, happened. When Flux aired, I thought this is pretty good. I was actually excited for Doctor Who again. I recently rewatched it and it didn't hold up as well as it did. I would say I enjoy I really enjoyed 2 episodes of Flux, and that is the Sontaran one, which was my favourite Jodie Whittaker episode for a while. And then I quite liked the Village of the Angels one. But when it first aired, I really enjoyed episode 1, the Halloween Apocalypse, and I wasn't as big on that episode rewatching it. It was just a lot of setup, and then episode 6 of Flux, the final episode, again, everything kind of falls flat on its face for me. It's kind of a massive build up to nothing, which when I rewatched the Halloween Apocalypse episode 1 of Flux, because it's just set up, and it is exciting setup, but because you know it builds up to nothing, it's a shame, it's a waste. But the Sontaran one's good, is really good actually, and the Village of the Angels one is pretty good. Yeah, and then there was 2 specials, Eve of the Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devils. Eve of the Daleks I enjoyed, actually. I thought it was a decent episode. It wasn't anything amazing, it was decent. Legend of the Sea Devils I thought was absolute trash. I hated it. It is one of my least favourite episodes of Doctor Who of all time. And now, we get to Power of the Doctor. Now, I was extremely hyped for this episode for a couple of reasons. Ace and Tegan coming back. Great to see classic companions coming into Doctor Who. There was just a lot of rumours regarding the episode about who she was going to regenerate into, so that was gathering hype for me. But I went in expecting your average Chibnall writing and your average Chibnall episode, but maybe with a surprise at the end. That's kind of what I was expecting. But surprisingly, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's joint with the Sontaran episode as being my favourite of Whittaker. I thought it was a really enjoyable episode. So let's get into it. First of all, let's talk about the acting. I thought Jodie Whittaker's performance actually was pretty good in this episode. She could have, like, throughout her full tenure as the Doctor, she could have gave a stronger performance. But she obviously picked the way she wanted to take the role and went for it. And it works quite well here. She has some really great moments with Yaz, who is played by Mandip Gill, who also gives a good performance here, I think. I think, controversially, Yaz is probably my favourite of Whittaker's companions. And they actually have really nice scenes together in this episode. They're actually characterised well here, which is not something I'm used to in the Whittaker era, is characters actually being characterised well. It was great seeing Ace and Tegan back. Obviously, I'm not familiar with them from Classic Who, but I still think they gave good performances. And obviously we had John Bishop as Dan back, who I'm not crazy for as an actor, but he was okay here. And there was loads of surprises in this episode, with a load of Classic Who Doctors coming back. So we had Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and Paul McGann all appear, and David Bradley playing the first Doctor, all appear in this episode. They all gave great performances. It was lovely seeing McCoy with Ace and Davison with Tegan. All that stuff was really nice. I do think the episode maybe was a bit too fan-pleasing, because not all of it was done particularly well. Some of it was too on the nose. For example, the Master walks out wearing a collection of other outfits worn by the Doctor. It was just to please fans, and that's all it was for, and it was very distracting. But some of it was done well, some of it was written nicely, and yeah, let's get on to the script by Chris Chibnall. And I would say, although some of it went over my head in first viewing, on second viewing I got a lot more out of it. I think his script's actually pretty good here. His writing's pretty good. It's not amazing, it is nothing incredible. He should be able to write better Doctor Who than this, but it's actually pretty good here. There are a couple of things that I was a bit confused by. For example, why is the Master wanting to turn into the Doctor? I know they try and go with he's trying to tarnish the Doctor's name, but couldn't he have just done that anyway? Like, there's no actual point in him turning into the Doctor. That's kind of glossed over. I would have much preferred if it was explained that the Master was trying to harness the power of the Timeless Child. That would be amazing. But it's kind of explained as all the Master wants to do is tarnish the Doctor's name, which is a bit of a crap plot point. And yeah, there was a couple of bits that went over my head in first viewing. For example, the child that is at the start of it that the Doctor's searching for throughout this episode. In the first viewing, I was like, that child wasn't explained in the end. Second viewing, it is explained what the child is. So yeah, the writing was actually pretty solid. in this episode. The direction was pretty good. Jamie Magnus Stone directed this, and I would say he's the best director of the Chibnall era. I wouldn't say it's incredibly directed. Some of the CGI is a bit overbearing. There are like fully CGI shots in here that just don't look real at all. They don't look good. I much prefer when Doctor Who takes a practical approach to stuff. I know that can't always be done, especially with an episode as grand as this. But yeah, I love it when more practical effects are used and things. It just makes it look far more realistic. And yeah, but it's still decent direction. Some of the CGI looked good. The direction, the action is really fast paced and well directed. Yeah, it's decent direction all round. Jamie Magnus Stone, I think, would succeed in directing better written Doctor Who episodes. I would actually quite like to see him direct maybe some of Russell T Davies' new episodes in the future, because he definitely is a good director. There is something off about his direction, but I can't put my finger on it. Some of it just looks a bit fake, and I know it is fake, but it shouldn't look fake. It just looks overly glamorized, I think. Whereas if you look back at especially like 9 and 10's kind of seasons of the show, they're very rustic, I feel. Matt Smith's and Peter Capaldi's did start to look a bit more glamorized, but nothing distracting. This looks just really glamorized. It's too polished, I think, for like a late night BBC show. But yeah, decent direction. And let's talk about the regeneration quickly. I thought the regeneration was awesome. Obviously, towards the end, we see Yaz, Graham and Dan go to a group for all the Doctor's companions to kind of come together. And we see loads of companions from Classic Who, and it's beautiful to see. We see Jo Grant. Jo Grant, I love you so much. She is amazing. And yeah, that's really nice to see. And then Jodie Whittaker's regeneration itself, I think, is actually beautifully done. Her last moments with Yaz are amazing. And I would say, in terms of the actual effects of the regeneration and where it takes place, you know, on the cliff, I think it's the most beautiful regeneration in Doctor Who ever. Very bittersweet. Her last words were lovely. The regeneration scene at the end, 10 out of 10, perfect. I thought it was amazing. And then she regenerates into David Tennant. That was crazy. Even though I was very much expecting it to happen, it was genuinely crazy actually seeing David Tennant back on screen. And that trailer at the end where we we see the introduction to Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor. I'm so excited for Doctor Who. I'm excited for Doctor Who in the future. Russell T Davies, you're the man. I'm so excited for the future of Who. And it's going to Disney Plus. It's going to Disney Plus. So the whole world will be able to watch Doctor Who. I'm so excited. But yeah, all in all, it's probably one of my most favourite of the Jodie Whittaker era of Doctor Who. Some of the plot points go over your head a little bit, and some of the direction might not look the best, but it's decent performances. Actually good, well done action story for Doctor Who, well written by Chibnall. Actually decent dialogue, decent characterisation, and that the last 10 minutes of the episode, especially the scene where Jodie and Yaz are sitting on the TARDIS, having their last moments. Beautiful. I would give The Power of the Doctor a 7 out of 10. Yeah, I enjoyed the episode. So thank you for watching this video. I know I haven't uploaded in a while, but I'm going to start getting back into it. I've just been really busy recently and I've just not had time to upload, but I'm definitely going to start uploading more. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around on my channel for the last 3 weeks when I haven't uploaded. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you like the channel. It really helps. It really encourages me to make more videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.